In this video, we are going to explore whether you can afford a home in Naples in 2025. Naples is a luxury market for the most part. That's how people perceive it. But there are other opportunities in the market as well. And so in this video, we're going to explore the market trends, overall pricing, and we're going to look at some opportunities that exist out there for you as a buyer in this market here in 2025. So let's jump right into it. Now, my name is Brad Dohak with Gulf Point Properties. I have been in Southwest Florida for almost 20 years and have been licensed the entire time that I've been down here. So I've seen a lot of changes in the overall market, and what's shaping up right now is really extraordinarily beneficial for you as a buyer. So let's talk about where we came from and now where we are going. So in 2021 and 2022, we had blockbuster banner years here in real estate in Southwest Florida, and particularly in Naples. What that meant is that we had more transactions that were happening from a real estate perspective, and in many cases we were seeing, really the majority of cases, we were seeing properties go for over asking price. Many of those were hundreds of thousands of dollars more than the list price, and in some cases we had scenarios where we even had listings that had 30 plus offers on them within the first few days they were on the market. Total mayhem, and that was what we would call an extreme seller's market. Fast forward in 2022, the beginning of 2022, around February, we had the lowest inventory that we've ever had at 2,565 properties available on the market in all of Southwest Florida. That was not much to keep up with the demand. There was so much demand that at that point we only had 2 weeks worth of inventory, meaning if no new homes came on the market, we would be completely out of properties to sell in 2 weeks' time. About that time in February, things started to change. We started to add inventory at a time which is our high season. And typically what should happen is that during our high season, a lot of people put their homes on the market at the end of the year, into January, because they're waiting for the snowbirds, the retirees, to come down, potentially purchase their properties. And then in the later part of season, which is March, April, May, we sell off a bunch of that inventory. So, we raise inventory and then we sell it all off. Well, what happened in 2022 is there was a shift. And after that February timeframe, we started to add inventory during our high season, and it started to raise by 1,000 per week. Like, it was going up very quickly. And what happened? Why did this happen? This was the exact moment that interest rates started to rise. And obviously we know that interest rates have a substantial impact on the overall market. That being said, Collier County in Naples has a lot of real estate transactions that are cash. Then why would the interest rates make such a difference? And the reality is because then the buyers got to have more power. Prices started to soften, inventory started to rise, and all of a sudden we got into a scenario where things weren't as hot as they were, figuratively, back in 2021 and 2022. And then now we have buyers starting to gain a little bit more traction, a little bit momentum. And that's where we've gone. So we actually made it up to almost 25,000 properties on the market, coming from 2,500, which was a substantial increase. And that was in March of this year when we reached that number. Fast forward to today and we have about 18,000. So that number has come down significantly from where it was. And so we're starting to see less inventory be available than what we had before. And we're seeing that the opportunities are there for buyers. But if the inventory keeps decreasing at that rate, that may not last forever. So where do we stand when it comes to median pricing here in Naples, Florida? As of this past month, we had a median price of $755,000 for a single family home. Now, keep in mind that at the highest point, which was last year, we had a high median price of $950,000 for a single family home in Collier County. So that's down almost $200,000, and that's a 21% decrease from the highs. So now as we're looking at affordability, obviously if it's 21% less, it's 21% sale compared to the high, things are looking better from a buying perspective. Now, when it comes to townhomes and condos, those typically are going to be more affordable than the single family home for obvious reasons. Now, the median price of a townhome and a condo in this market is $475,000. So substantially, almost $300,000 more affordable than a single family home. But there are some major considerations that you should figure out if a condo is something that you are interested in. If the property is over 3 stories tall, there's going to be a scenario where there are new milestone inspections and criteria that could increase the overall dues, the association dues that you're responsible for, and the likelihood or risk of special assessments. We've seen that be a giant issue in the scheme of things. Now, one of the other factors that's been at play over time is insurance. And we want to talk through that because it is real. Over the past few years, here's what I will tell you. We had seen after the hurricanes like Ian and Irma, we had seen a lot of increases in the insurance rates in all of the state of Florida. We saw a lot of companies who bailed out of the state completely, and so there's less competition. And so those were all negative factors that actually increased the premiums quite significantly. Fast forward to today, and that's stabilized quite a bit. I actually, on my primary residence, shopped it, and I was able to find 20% cheaper policy this year than I was able to last year. So if you're up for a renewal, by all means, and you already own real estate in Florida, anywhere really, you should shop that rate because there are likely new companies or likely more competition out there to be able to get a better rate for your insurance. With better insurance rates, with lower prices, these are starting to be great opportunities for you as a buyer to have property become more affordable here in Florida. Now, we hear that a lot of things are happening around interest rates. Whether that happens or not, we shall see. But we're looking at probably later in the year, early next year, to where we start to see some major relief around those things. But the opportunities are a-knocking. We see time and time again, there are properties where the seller is willing to take $100,000 or more off of the list price to be able to put a deal together. Couple that with the fact that now you can have certain types of contingencies, which maybe in the past you couldn't. So if you need financing, having a finance contingency be part of the deal. We certainly recommend always having an inspection period as part, or inspection contingency as part of your contract. Whereas just a few years ago, people were waiving those left and right because they just wanted to have the best offer possible to present to the seller when they're competing against so many other offers. And so this is a really big deal. Sellers are now considering home sale contingencies. Sellers are considering contributions towards your closing costs as well. It just depends on what you need in order to accomplish that. So the best thing to do is, if you're a cash buyer, everything that I talked about would make sense for you to say, hey, prices are a lot more affordable. Let's work to negotiate the best deal that we can. If you are looking to get a mortgage or need financing to make that purchase, you're going to want to have a conversation with your lender, figure out the best rates, and that is something that we can help with as well. So we have a list of recommended lenders. They're tried and true. They're local to our area. We have relationships with them so that they want to do well by you instead of the larger national brands that you're just a piece of paper in front of their desk. So if you have any questions or you want to get access to that list, me and my team would be honored to be able to help you with that. Hope you found this valuable. Thanks so much for watching. If you could do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to make a special ask. If you could share this video with somebody who you think it might be useful for, that would mean the world to us. For now, have a blessed day, and thank you so much for watching.